Hi, welcome to Belinda's Baubles. Today is June 18th, 2026, and this is episode 40. I am so sorry. It has been a good 6 weeks, possibly more, since my last video, and let's just say life happens. Some of the things that have been going on recently are things that are not for me to talk about, so I won't be discussing them on here. Other things I will talk about at the end. Just to say that everyone involved is either okay, getting there, or learning a new norm. So it has just been a really interesting 6 weeks. And as you can tell, I'm not wearing my microphone. It is somewhere in my luggage because that's something else that happened in the last 6 weeks. Everything kind of got turned on its ear, and we'll see how long this episode lasts according to how long I can survive without the air conditioner over there, because it's supposed to be our first 100-degree day here in Texas. All right, if you're new here, welcome. I deal with knitting, crochet, what else? Just whatever gets into my fancy, basically, but it's mainly knitting and crochet. And this is just a fun podcast, casual, I guess you would say. And I am coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas, in the United States, where it is hot and sunny, but mostly hot. Okay, so I have one thing to deal with at the very beginning here. I'm not going over what I'm wearing at the moment because these are two of my finished objects, and so I'll be talking about them shortly. But I had someone from the Topping Out Mal that I drew the prize from 6 weeks ago that still has not contacted me. So I am going to redraw that prize. I feel like I've given plenty of time for them to contact me and for them to watch the last episode. So I'm just moving forward with you guys. So let me just break in here. Okay, let's try this spin for a redrawing. It is for the chicken bag, which includes 3 skeins, Fiber Lady, Strawberry Surprise Midori, which is 100% rayon bamboo luxury yarn. It is in fingering weight, and a few other goodies in there. All right, so if I get somebody who has already won a prize on either mine or Mandy's, and the other person with the same number has not, then the person who has not won a physical prize yet will be the one who gets the prize. So let's try that spin. Number 7. And I know that's a number that is on both of ours. I'm going to do a coin. I'm having to get all the commercials off there. Coin flip. All right, let's see who number 7 is on mine. Okay, I'm going to kill the name, but it is someone who has not won a prize between myself and Mandy as of yet. So it is Imikal. I'm going to put it right here. All right, and this is Linda. Linda, if you could please contact me either by email or through Ravelry is the best. The email is kind of getting wishy-washy, but if you could please contact me on Ravelry. I know you're on there since you have entered that way, and I will be happy to get this prize out to you. All right, so congratulations again, and I'm going to write this down and let's go back to the regularly scheduled program. So I was going to jump into just finished objects, but I kind of need to get you caught up a little bit in my life over the last 6 weeks on what's happened and why some of the content that I had planned has not happened as of yet. So when I saw you guys last, I was getting ready to do the North Texas yarn crawl. Yes, I did go. Yes, I had a wonderful time. And yes, there are videos coming. I will have links in these videos to the stores that I visited. Most of them, if you're in the United States, they have shipping. So you still have the opportunity to do a little shopping with them if you decide you want to. The same with the specialty yarns and everything. Most of them do have online shops that ship within the United States. So you will not be left out on some of those things that I'm going to be showing you a little bit late. What happened was the day before the yarn crawl, I went over to Juju Knits to pick up mine and Bill's bags. Bill bought me a surprise with getting me a yarn crawl bag. And so I went and picked them up so we would have them for the start. Well, or at least I picked mine up. I think he had already picked his. I don't know. I can't remember. But on the way home, I got a phone call from Dad. And Dad had been planning or had started planning a trip to Hawaii. And he had put it out there that any of us kids that wanted to go, we were welcome to join up with them and everything. And I had responded that it just wasn't anything that we could afford at this time. Well, Dad called and said he wanted me on the trip. Hawaii has a bit of a family connection for us because that's where Dad was stationed when he met Mom. And whenever they got married, that's where they went. They didn't have a honeymoon. Mom would complain about the fact she didn't have a honeymoon. Kiddingly, what she did instead was move immediately from Texas to Hawaii. Whoa. And that's where my brother Bill was born. And so he lived the first few years of his life there, and he has been back there since to visit his birthplace. But I'd never gone because I joined the family on the mainland. And so Dad just said that he really wanted me to go on this trip. So I talked to Sam about it. This year, in a few weeks, is coming up on my 60th birthday. And Sam said, I really needed to go. When was the next time that I would have a trip opportunity like this with Dad? So it happened. We, everybody together, worked together to make this happen. At the same time, Seaver, we had promised him a cruise or a trip, something along those lines for his college graduation gift. We had done the same thing for his sister years ago. And so we had promised this to him. As you may, if you've been around with me long enough, you know that he graduated 2 years ago, I think it's been a year or two since he graduated, and a cruise just has not been on the books for us due to health reasons and things that have been going on. So instead, I asked him if he would like to go on this trip as well. Now, Seaver has just completed getting his medical assistant certification. And during that time was time for him to be testing and everything. So he only went for a few days so that he could get back in time to be able to complete his studies and do his testing. But he was there for a short period of time with us. So that all happened the first week of June. But when it came about, at the beginning of Yarn Crawl, what I was looking for on the Yarn Crawl as far as things to purchase changed a little bit. Because then I was in mind of what am I going to wear to a luau? And I want to make something to wear to the luau, which was going to be my stepmom's 75th birthday party. So, and I wanted the time that I was there to be mostly wearing things that I had made. just saying, vacation, wearing your own knits and crochets, that was my dream. Hawaii had never been on my bucket list, but boy, am I glad I went. Now, I'm not really sharing any photos or videos here with you right now because the videos I took and everything, I am going to be incorporating into my Christmas in July vlogs. Also, the yarn crawl videos that I have not fully put together yet and need to continue editing, those will also be going and be interspersed into the Christmas in July vlogs so that I can get myself caught up. But just keep watching. I know not everybody is into daily vlogs, and that's fine. I will have on there, if in the title and everything, if it is a day that is going to be a yarn crawl day, if it's going to be a Hawaii day, things along those lines, so that if there's things that in there that you want to come and jump into and see, you'll have that opportunity. But I am going to be sharing with you today my 2 finished objects. There's actually 3, but 2 of them were for the trip. Of course, I have my Hawaiian flowers going here, kind of hiding the fact that my hair needs to be redone, but oh well. So let's now jump into finished objects. Which one do I want to show? I guess I should show first what I'm wearing. Okay, so the one that was not part of the trip, this was actually something I made for the yarn crawl because I figured it was going to be hot and I wasn't going to want to have a whole lot on as far as knit things because it was also muggy. But I did want to make a couple of things so that, of course, when you go, you're wearing your resume, right? And I had been wanting to try and start teaching myself a new crochet skill. So what this little scarfette is, and this is 1 full skein. Well, I had about 5 grams left over, I think. Let me check my notes here. I don't have it on there. How about that? But I think I ended up with maybe about 5 grams, maybe 10 at the most with this. But this is the 630 scarf by Melissa Fisher. And it is Tunisian crochet. This is my first Tunisian crochet project. Usually the double. And one of the things I really like about it is reversible. So you can choose which one you want to be your front and your back. Now the yarn I have here is one that I picked up a couple of years ago in Arkansas during the Arkansas yarn crawl, which is going on in July, by the way. It's called Colored by Christy, hand-dyed in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. And this is called Mac and Cheese. It's her silky sock, 50% superwash merino, 50% silk, 438 yards to 100 grams. And it feels so good. And I did enjoy wearing this. I had this on the bus whenever I was doing day 3. And so you will see this coming up in that video. But it is so nice and soft, but I did get a little warm with it at times. In fact, I'm going to be taking it off shortly. But can you tell I've been kind of in a yellow phase? So you're also going to be getting sneak peeks of some of the yarns I purchased during the yarn crawl because I've already made 2 projects with them. This is what happens when you get behind, right? Okay, so I really do love this texture. I ended up purchasing this 630 scarf pattern by Melissa Fisher because of the fact that she had some great how-to videos in there. Yes, it's a simple looking scarf. It would be something I could probably figure out on my own now, but I was wanting the tutorials that went along with this scarf, and that was one of the reasons that I picked her pattern and went ahead and purchased it. Now, it was a pattern that was for DK, so I held the yarn double, and I wanted it to be longer than what she called for. So what I changed was my goal was going to be 60 inches because I wanted to either wear it in my hair, be able to do a double wrap around my neck, like a little Sophie scarf. So I wanted that for whenever I wear it different times of the year, just to add a little bit of color. I wanted that option. And so I ended up, it's a paid for pattern, so I'm not giving away information that would go, but the center section, I knit each section to 20 inches. It's in 3 different sections, your increase, your center, and your decrease. And so I ended up using 20 inches as my goal for each of those sections, which was longer than what she had the sections. Okay. Do I love this? Yes, I do. And I am going to definitely look at some of her other patterns because this was my first time making something of hers. So this is my first Tunisian crochet, and it was made with a 5.0 millimeter H hook. All right. So what is next? Next goes into my desire to make something for Hawaii. And while I was looking through some of the different yarns and everything, I ended up deciding to try a summer secret crop. Every time I've done it in the past, it has been with DK because I was concerned that fingering weight would not give enough coverage. I found out fingering weight does give enough coverage, especially if you have undergarments underneath it. So, but I have been wearing this top. Let me move back a little bit, quite a bit. And I'm still figuring out sizing and everything because I told you in the past that I was starting a new program for pre-diabetes and weight loss, and I have lost 25 pounds at this point. What it has meant is all my yarn, my knit stuff still fits me. It's just it fits me better because my stomach has gone back away from my boobs are out further than my stomach. So, and I've got a little bit of a waist, so everything is fitting me a little bit better. Now, what I do and have done with the Summer Secret Crop by Jessie May Designs is making it longer. You start, it's a bottom up, it's a free pattern, and I just make sure that I have enough for my torso. And I also do not do the straps with the same number of stitches. I do, or did on this one, I did, let's see, what did I do? Okay, so I did 14 stitches for this I-cord to give a little bit more coverage, but I didn't want it super wide. I have some that are super wide that I've done up to 20 stitches, but they were also in DK and they were pretty wide. This one I wanted to feel a little lighter, and so I did the 14 inches. Now, let me tell you about the yarn first. Okay, so I'm a little bit in between sizes with this, but the yarn that I used is not on here. Bear with me a moment. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what I've done with that ball band. I had it in the last couple of weeks. I don't know. But this is Charming You. Some of her sock yarn, and it was from her, I got it at On the Lamb Yarn Shop from her trunk show. I will look back through my footage and see if I can pull the name off there. Otherwise, I'll reach out to Maureen and I'll ask her what it was. I'm sorry. This is me these last 6 weeks. Another reason I haven't been on here. I haven't even been up to my craft room in over a month. I've got stuff I've been working on down in the living room, but I couldn't even bring myself to come up here. I've cleaned it up a little bit to be able to do today, but it just, one of those times when your brain just doesn't let you do what you really need to be doing. Okay, so back to this. And as I said, it's bottom up. I did start with one skein, got to about here with that skein, and had to switch over to a second skein just because of the amount of length that I was wanting, and I've ended up with it being bigger than what was necessary. So I'm going to do my next one a little bit smaller, because for this one I cast on using the US 7 4.5 millimeter. I cast on 178 stitches. Now this is a free pattern, and I cast it on doing the with a crochet 5 millimeter crochet hook, doing the crochet cast on, because when I cast it on the first time, I think I did 170 stitches and it was too tight. I couldn't get it over my chest. So the crochet cast on has made it much stretchier to where I have all this extra room. Can you tell that I'm into yellow and gold at the moment? Just found those pants yesterday. I'm like, this goes with it perfectly. I wore this several times in Hawaii because I did get it done in time for Hawaii, but the straps were too long. And what I did first was I made the straps 11 inches unstretched, and they stretched to 14 inches to where it made this come down to about here as I wore it during the course of the day. So I went back. I found out I had really woven in those stitches good, but I went back, picked all that out, and ripped back 2 inches. And I'm liking this much better. You know, it's still, when I was coming up, you keep decreasing, and I kept decreasing too much. The next one, I'm not going to decrease as much to make it come out here a little bit wider. I think that'll fit over my undergarments a little bit better. But it's using fingering weight and everything. I didn't get all hot and sweaty in it. Whenever I was in Hawaii, it was very comfortable. Now, it was cooler temperatures there because it got up into the 80s. It was humid, but it rained a little bit every day, which got it to where it was in the 70s at night. And so I was very comfortable in my knitwear and crochet. But this, since I got back, I had thought this would make a really great pajama top. And Lori with Arkansas Yarn Co. was the one that convinced me to go ahead and try doing this in fingering weight because she has made quite a few. This one is my fifth. Yeah, this is my fifth project off this pattern, but it is my first fingering weight one. And I already have another one that I'll be talking to you about in a minute that I started already. Let me make sure that my stuff is not in this bag. That would be just desserts for me, wouldn't it? Nope. Okay, it's not in there. Just thinking. It would be my luck. So I will get that information for you. But here, let me put a picture up here. This is me out near Waikiki Beach, and like I said, I loved this top, and I definitely am going to be, you know how some people will have socks on the go all the time, or a hat, you know, the muscle burr hat or whatever on the go all the time. This is going to be mine on the go because it's something I can wear year round, either underneath garments or on its own. So And it has made a great pajama top too. I have slept in it, comfortable as can be. And so I'm going to be working on some of these that I can wear either out and about or as pajama tops. Very versatile. This next one though, I am trying to make sure I use only one skein because I only have one skein of this. So hopefully the length will stretch enough because this is a little bit longer than what it has to be. And I may make it to where it doesn't come up as high as this one does in the neck, because you can just stop it earlier and then do the straps. So I'm going to play with it a little bit to make sure I don't need that second skein. So we'll see what happens with it. Okay, what is next is my luau top. Okay, I've got to get rid of this, sorry. It's either the hum of the air conditioner or this going off. Oh, yes, need a little bit more air there. Okay, so my luau top. Now I will put a picture here. And this was actually at the luau at the very beginning. I'm not showing you the picture at the very end. It was humid. My hair is not used to this humidity, and it was frizzed all over the place. Okay, but here it is in person. This is the Fresh Berries tee pattern is what I used, and it is a free pattern by Universal Yarn, and I have used it to make my striped tees with Universal Yarns in the past, and it is just a great DK go-to pattern when you're not wanting a lot of extra sleeve, but it's your choice. If you do add some on, you can, but I like this because I just add ribbing, and I like the way it fits. And it uses, for the ribbing, the US 7 4.5 millimeter, and for the body, the US 8 5 millimeter. So the fabric has a bit of breeze to it and everything. Now, here it is. Woo, I know you can see the sparkle in there. And it has such great movement. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And so fun. Now, I bought this yarn on Yarn Crawl, both of these, from Juju Knits, which unfortunately she has announced that she is closing her physical store in July. And she's moving on to some other things. Now, she has been putting a lot of stuff online in her, as far as just online at jujuknits.com, and she ships in the United States. So you might want to go over there and see what she has as far as some of her sale items and everything. She has not announced fully what's happening next, but anyways, this is where I got this idea from, as far as she had a tee that she had used, the Lana Gross Cosmo. And for my size, which was, what size did I do on this? It runs a bit big, so I did a size medium, which normally I would do a size extra large. So I did a size medium, and it was still this wide, okay? My gauge was like 16 stitches and 24 rows to 4 inches, so that kind of gives you an idea there. But the two yarns I used and held together is the Lana Gross Cosmo. I used 2 balls of it, and I used all of it. But it made it all the way to the end. And then that is in the color pink, which is 15. And then I used Cascade Yarn Heritage as my base color. And I used 2 skeins of it as well. I think I have about 20 grams left from the second skein. It's in color 5772 Highlighter Pink. And it is highlighter pink. But the I don't have any of the threads and everything to show you necessarily on the Lana Gross because it was a bit burgundy. Now I did do a little short video on Instagram, and I'm going to post it here on YouTube as well, that kind of shows those two colors separated and kind of give you an idea. Now, with doing this, I didn't want the sequins right up against my neck, and I did make some changes as far as I did a, let's see, let me go through this. For the body is 94 stitches and 54 sleeve stitches is what I increased to. And let's see, I knit to 8 inches for me before I split. Now I did a 5-stitch I-cord using the main needle, which was a US 8, 5mm. And at first I was concerned it was going to be too tight, but whenever I blocked it, it stretched out nicely and it feels comfortable on my arm. Then the body I knit till I ran out of sequins, which ended up being 17.5 inches from under the arm. And then I switched to smaller needles and did a 2x2 rib for 8 rows to match the neckline, and used the stretchy 2x2 bind off from Nimble Needles, his tutorial. So there's the, because I didn't want it to be cinched in necessarily because of where it was hitting on me. Now, I really can't feel the sequins on the inside of the body, but I am still working on it, one project of this. Because with it being such a large gauge, I did not have to pull the sequins through as I went along. If you do a tighter gauge, you really do need to pull them through as, you know, every row as you're working on it for the previous rows. So this is the inside with these little tiny sequins still in there, but the big ones are all pushed through. And I did this on the airplane on the way to Hawaii. So I got up to the bust line. Up here in the bust line, I still have some of the big, and on the back, I still have some of the bigger sequins that I'm still going to be pushing through to the front. Because, you know, I want all the sequins I can on here, but even with that, you couldn't tell when I was wearing it necessarily that there's more sequins through on the bottom than the top. Maybe if you look real close you can, but I loved how this moves, and it was so comfortable to wear. Again, it was a beautiful evening, and so I really, really enjoyed that. Okay, so that's all my finished objects. I do have one that I have a new cast on. And this is, guess what? Another secret summer crop. And I do have the ball band. Okay, so whenever I was caking it up, it had a lot of tangles in it. It had some issues. This is a yarn that's been in my stash for a couple of years. This shows you the color, so I had to put it into a ball. And this is how it is knitting up so far. But see, it looks like it's pretty see-through. But once you put it on, you can't. And the yarn I am using is La Bien-Aimée, hand-dyed in Paris. I bought this a couple of years ago on Yarn Crawl from McKinney Knittery, and the colorway is on here somewhere. Tangiopia. So this is the only I think this is the only La Bien-Aimée I've ever purchased. And feeling of it and everything, I don't know that I can tell a difference between some of the other hand-dyed yarns or anything. You know, she's got different colors and everything. But I wanted to give it a try. And I originally bought this with this top in mind because I was going to make it into a pajama top. Now, I may not make it into pajama, well, it may be both. So I just cast this on a couple of days ago. It's got these great pinks and purples and everything. And I've just got a couple of inches done so far. Now for this one, I am going with, or I cast on one of the actual sizes. Pull it up here. Instead of making my own count, which you can do either, but for this one, I wanted to try, since this ended up stretching really wide and dipping at times, I wanted to make it a little less. Now, I do not put the waist darts or anything in it. I just do it straight down because of my body style. So I'm doing the size large on it. And I'm using the 4.5 millimeter. I didn't switch over. Was I supposed to switch over? I don't remember. No, it's just the one side. I'm getting these two confused. Okay, so it is just the one size. Okay, I'm not supposed to switch over. All right, so part of this last little bit was also my Podiversary, my 3rd year Podiversary. So Mandy with Diary of a Sweater Knitter, she had sent me a little care package, and part of it was yarn. This is Swanky Stargazing, March 2025, from Blackbird Sycamore Yarn. It's a hand-dyed Diva DK, 246 yards, 100 grams, 4-ply, 75% superwash merino, 25% recycled nylon. And it's just that her March 2025 color in green. It blends in with the wall. This still hasn't changed color yet, I know, but it's not really, you know, it's Seaver's color, but it's my dad's color, but it's not my color. And so I am going to do a drawing for this as a thank you. Now this will go, all you have to do is put a comment down below. Please be a subscriber, because this is kind of a thank you gift for getting me to where I am over the last 3 years. And it is worldwide. As long as I can mail it to you, I will send it to you. So it'll be this and probably a stitch marker. So just a small little prize, but I've been curious about this. So whoever wins this, you have to tell me what you think of the Blackbird Sycamore yarn, because I have not tried her yarn yet. And I know Mandy with Diary of a Sweater Knitter loves to use it. All right, so comment down below. What are we going to comment? Just put Podiversary somewhere in the comment if you wish to be entered for this drawing. So just put Podiversary in there, and that way I will know that you do have an interest in it. And then I will do that drawing on my next full episode, which will be sometime in July. What else? That is the main part. I am going to go into a little bit of life happens with just a quick update because there's just been too much that's gone on. So if you're not interested in that, thank you for sticking around, and I will see you hopefully real soon. And thank you for being patient with me. All right, so for life happens. What has been happening during that time was getting ready for the trip to Hawaii. knitting every little bit of extra time I had. We had a few different health scares with a few different people in the family that kind of caused some extra stress unintentionally. One of those scares was actually Ziva. And if you're not familiar with Ziva, she is our 11-year-old Chihuahua, and she has heart disease. And I'm thinking it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, if I'm remembering correctly, Sam takes her out on short walks. I mean, we're talking within our little block. And one day she got to the next door neighbor's house and she just collapsed in their yard. So we got her to the vet quickly. They sent us on to the vet emergency room, and they were really concerned. We were really concerned. They had her on oxygen for 4 hours in a little doggy incubator oxygen tent thing, and got some fluid off of her, because her fluid had really, even though we have her on fluid pills and everything, something had happened in her system. Her heart wasn't getting rid of the fluid, and it had just built up. And so they had to do an emergency fluid release on her. And so she was in there, I guess we were in the emergency room with her for about 6 hours. Her blood work looked good, thankfully, and she has perked up a bit, and she's doing better. We've changed up her meds a little bit, and she's not able to do those walks, except maybe going down a house or two in the very cool of the evening or in the first thing in the morning. But we've had to limit her activity just because it's wearing on her heart. So that was one of the reasons Sam did not go on the Hawaii trip with us, is since we had that scare, she's not been alone more than a couple of hours during the course of the day. Otherwise, one of us has been with her. So we've had that going on. I've had multiple family members that have had just personal things going on with them, and health and everything. And so I have been stretched in those directions, plus getting ready for vacation, going on vacation, which was amazing. I can't wait to show you all the video. It was also a bit stressful, but Dad did great. Dad did absolutely great. He got around much better than we expected him to, scooter-wise and walking and everything else. And we just had a great time with family. Did I do everything I planned to do? No. I mean, we spent a lot of time over that month planning everything in detail, booking everything in advance because you have to, and then weather and everything shot a lot of it and time, but I didn't really miss the things that we didn't do because I did other things instead. So it was just going with the punches, and I'm not always really good at doing that. So that has been something I've been working on. Health-wise with me, I'm doing really good. I have lost about 25 pounds so far with the twin program. I have been cheating lately. I cheated a bit on vacation, but I only gained 3 pounds on vacation, and I've lost those since I got back. But work has been very busy getting back in the swing of it. So family has been in town. There's just been so much going on, and I'm afraid that I've had to put the podcast on the back burner during that time. So in July, hopefully, I'll get you guys all caught up and be able to do most days, possibly not all days. Let's just see how it goes, because since I took my vacation in June, I'm not going to be on any vacation time in July. So this is going to be me working and doing stuff. But we'll just see what happens. Now, I do have some fireworks to show you guys. It's going to be my celebration of the country's 250th birthday, but it will not be fireworks that was actually for that purpose. I'm going to show you some fireworks from my parents' balcony in Hawaii instead during that time. So that's coming up. Okay. I think that's it for now. I'm going to go. I'm going to try to get this edited sometime in the next day or two and get it uploaded. So by the time you see this, it may be Saturday or Sunday. So I will see you guys hopefully real soon. And thank you again for being patient with me over the course of this last year and over this upcoming time where I am very sporadic. But thanks again for those who have reached out to me to check on me. I really do appreciate it. It has just been time and a half. All right. See you guys soon.